Good morning and warm welcome to you all. I'm Vaibhav, your host for today. Our topic for today is financial planning for startups. It shall be taken by Ms. Nirmala Soni. She shall cover financial planning for startups, modes for raising funds for startups, important ratios for analysis, followed by question and answer session. Our agenda for today is virtual inauguration by Dr. Sundar Kataria, invoking the blessing of deity, chanting of Gayatri Mantra, introduction of speaker, presentation by Mr. Nirmala Soni, question and answer session, and last closing session. Sadgun Sangh conceived and led by Dr. Sundar Kataria, driven with the mission to elevate the quality, safety, and environmental awareness levels of industry. Sadgun Sangh is a series of educative, informative events aiming to illuminate professionals on possible solutions to current issues of industry and economy. About Dr. Sundar Kataria, sir, designation and organization, Chairman and Managing Director, International Certification Services Private Limited. His academic qualification, Doctorate in Business Management, Mechanical Engineer, experience, Rajasthan Atomic Power Project, India's first nuclear power plant at Rawat Bata, Kota, built by Indian engineers, worked as a nuclear scientist for 11 years and successfully completed and commissioned the plant. Engineers India Limited, first batch of engineers to develop Bombay High offshore oil and gas fields, mega offshore complex platform, trunk and submarine pipelines, underwater inspection, oil and gas equipment, etc. DNV, world largest classification society, worked for 17 years at various capacity for the certification of fixed offshore installation, submarine pipelines, onshore projects, and personnel qualification. ICS. He is founder of India's first certification conformance assessment body established in the year 1999. Provider of total quality solution, certification of management system, ISO, testing, provider of total quality solution, certification of management system, ISO, inspection, testing, and training qualification of personnel. Achievements and awards. Receive Lifetime Achievement Award for the contribution for the corrosion technologies from NACE International by NIGIS under NACE USA. Social worker, protection of life, asset, environment, and safety. Now I request Kataria sir to please virtually inaugurate the session.
अभी acting करना होगा.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Please join us for the recitation of the Gayatri Mantra. Introduction of our today keynote speaker. Designation and organization CA, registered valuer SFA, and social auditor. Her academic qualification FCA, registered valuer with IBBI, social auditor, and chartered accountant. Her area of specialization and experience: mentor with startup, India portal, Satna Incubation Center, Jabalpur, Incubation Center at Spark, Saga Startup Park, MP Startup Center, visiting faculty with RVO, career counselor with ICAI. Her her awards and achievements: Top 50 Remarkable Woman Award 2023 presented by Diva Plant Magazine. The Real Superwoman Award 2023 presented by Forever Star India. Certificate of Appreciation received from RVO IBBL. Please welcome Nirmala ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Eva, for such introduction. Thank you, ICS, for giving such a great platform. Let me share my screen.
Ma'am.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Just make it to full screen, ma'am.
Yes. Now it's visible.
Yeah, ma'am. Perfect.
Okay. So our today's topic is financial planning for the startups. You already got my introductions from the web app. One more thing, I have been appointed as a secretary of Association of Valuation Professional also. So in this topic, we would be covering what do you mean by the startups, various modes of fundraising for the startups, SME, IPO, and listing criteria, budgeting and forecasting, important ratios, valuations, everything we would be covering one by one. So let's start the session. So before starting the session, let me have a few points, few important points to be considered to have any business. So there are 4 skills or areas which are very important, whether you have any type of business, whether it is a general store, MSME or startup. If you have these 4 skills, you can easily have the command over your business. So first of all, you should have the mindset. The business owner should have the clear vision about his business, what are the plans, and he should accurately plan its business. Like if we want to if we want to succeed in the business, we should have the great vision. Like we say Dhirubhai Ambani was not having sufficient funds at that time, but then also he was visiting Taj hotels only to see that how the persons think, how the business what they think, the rich people how they think, what they are doing the business, how they are doing the business, only to see that one should be passionate about their his business. You should never quit their business. Suppose 1 year there is a loss, the next second year is also there is a loss. Then also their business should not be shut down. There should be a continuous passion to continue the business. There's yes, I have started the business. I would be succeed in the business. Give me some time. It would be a good, very much good in the future also. Like if we take the example like Zomato. Zomato was a not in a profit. Even though it was not in a profit, they went for the IPO, and after IPO, they have the profits. But they were never quit. They were only 2 persons. They were doing the job, whole day job, and then after job, they were going to all the restaurants in Delhi, Noida, nearby areas, and collect the various menus, and they list their menus in their app. So they were very much passionate about their business. They was not means a whole day we have worked. Then right now we don't want to work after the means job. There it was not there. Every day they went to the new restaurants and collect the menus and list that menus in their app. So the one should be very much passionate about doing the business. Then people management is very important thing. to have a successful business, you should have a good team. Job can be done by one person, but if you want to do a great business or startup, you should have a good team. One should means if you are the founder, co-founder is in a meeting, he because of to get the investment from the investors, to get the funds, to networking, they want to attend various webinars, seminars, events. So the back end should not be stopped. The back end should be very much strong. No, means if they are not in the office, then also their work should not be hampered. So with good team development is very important. Means one should be very much good in the finance. One should very good in the sales and marketing. One should good in very much in other areas. So that means if the founder co-founder is not having the miss they are not busy with the various other tasks, there should not be their work should not be hampered. Like if suppose the founder co-founder are they are IT people, they are very good in the IT sector, and they have developed one software, but they are not having the much skills in the finance, they are not having the much skills in the sales and marketing. Though, so there should be some persons or team management of employees or their other boards on the members boards, so that their advisory boards, so that their startups can grow very well. So even the having the team, the one should educate them, train them, and should be having the means a proper recognition reward should be there, so that the team should not left. So there should not be any once the team hiring is done and they are doing very good job, there should not be any uh, recession rates. Then the finance management is very important in the business. So if you get any investments from the means investors, so very much important to control the finance. They should not, the owner or the founder, co-founder should not waste the money so in the having the big offices, wasting their money in unnecessary things, buying big offices, spending on his personal expenses. There should be properly the business money should be used for the business only, not for the personal purpose. And it should be utilized in such a way that it should generate a revenue. It should be for the limited budget for the marketing, a limited budget for everything. So there should not be any wastage of money. Many businesses shut down or fails because of not proper utilization of funds. So like Byju's, if you take the example of Byju's, spends too much on marketing and expenses and not scaling the business, which result into lower valuations and even failure in the business. And even they have shut down their business. Means most of the investors have taken their funds back and not taken up their funds because of the auditors have not they have not completed their compliances on time. The auditors not have resigned, and the investors have taken their they have left taken the exits from the businesses, and the valuation have gone down. They are into bankruptcy. So very much important in the business that there should be proper budgeting. Means how to means these funds should be utilized for. Suppose you get 10 lakhs rupees, so then 10 lakhs should be utilized. Like if you get 2 lakhs would be on this expenses, 3 lakhs would be on this expenses, and the rest would be for the emergency funds. Because in the business, it is very important that you should once you get the funds, you should have the funds for like 6 months, because once you get the investment, you would not be there should not be any shortage of funds. At least for 6 months you should preserve that funds, because it is very difficult to get another round of funding easily. So you should utilize whatever the amount you have been in a very proper way. So proper valuation should be there for your business. So like if anyone is interested in your business, so how much equity you should dilute, how much you should give, because if you give, suppose there are three examples I have taken. Suppose you get 10 lakh rupees for 10% equity, so you are doing at a 1 crore valuation. But if you are giving more equity, 12% or 15%, your valuation would be down. So you should know exact valuation of your business. What is your value and how much you want to actual amount you want and how much you want to dilute. So if you dilute more, then your equity valuation would be lesser. So, and you should have once you should know all the ratios. We would be covering the ratios also. Means what is ratios of gross profit, how much business you are doing, gross profit, net profit, cash flow. There should not be any shortage of funds in the business. So, like if you have seen the Shark Tank, they ask for the cash burns. How much cash burns you have, how much valuation of your business, how much you are ready to dilute, what is the valuation of your business, what are the operating expenses, what are the unit economics. So one should know, means they are selling their business, they should know how much the sale has been done last month, how much the sale has been done from the last 1 year, which product they are selling much, what is their margin. Everything you should know about your business. Then only you can present your business very well with the investor. If you don't know yourself, how you will negotiate with the investors if you are not ready with your figures? Because when you pitch in front of the investor, you should pitch in the front of investor very much in confidence, so that yes, you know everything about your business, what will be your target audience, where you would be having means the next what is your next vision, how you are seeing your business 5 years down the line, with like suppose I am starting up my business in 25. I have a vision that after 10 years and 35 I would go for the IPO. So there's my vision should be very much clear, so that I should plan accordingly. So for that vision, as a longer vision, I should plan my finance very well. Then sales and marketing. So, like I've taken the example like a software is made, but how to sell that software means they are IT person. So, or any product is made by any founder or co-founder startup, then how to sell that product. Is very important. Selling and marketing the product is very important. Sale itself is a very narrow concept, well as a marketing is a very dynamic concept. Means in marketing you have to very much means target audience is very much more. You have the creativity in their negotiation technology, like right now we all know that there are means social media marketing are available, so that the products can reach to maximum people at a one go. There is also one theory, FAB theory, regarding the sales and marketing. Like a FAB stands for F stands for features, A stands for advantages, and B stands for the benefits. So one, while selling that its products, while giving ad on any of its product, like if you go like clothes or any item like sunglasses. So you instead of focusing on features and advantages, you should focus on the benefits. What are the benefits they would be getting? The customer, the end user would be getting the benefits that they would be getting the products at a very lower rate, and the products are very good. Like if clothes, they are very cotton means eco-friendly clothes. They are very suitable on all type of skins. And if you go for the sunglasses, they are very good at a very reasonable rates are available, and they are not breakable or such benefits are there. So, or many type of business, when we start a business, when any startup starts a business, or anyone starts a business, they start the business without having much research on that business. So when we start any business, one should go have a search for the three things. One, they should search for the trademark. When you start any business, they should search for the trademark. Trademark is very important. Means branding. So since in case of any business, you should have the brand. You have to create a brand, because when you think of the startup, you want to scale that startup at a national as well as an international level. So you should have create a brand. Like Zomato is a brand. The company name is different, but Zomato is a brand. Like Domino's is a brand. company name is different. So you should create a brand. So once before you start your business, once you should go through the website and or you can hire take the services from any professionals and search that this brand whether I'm interested in this product or whether this trademark is available or not. So suppose you do a business of 6 months, after 6 months you know that you cannot do the business with this trademark. Anyone file a case on your business. So it is very difficult for you to continue the business. So you should have a trademark for your business. Then you should have the since mostly what mostly happened in the business uh, like in startups, they will start the business as a sole proprietor. But in case of us once we will be taking also what do you mean by the startup? So in case of a startup, you should have a company or a LLP or partnership firm. So it is better to start the business as a these three form of organization only. So you should have have the company name also ready with you. You should not be matching with other company name. You should search with MCA websites. Then you should have the patent for the suppose if there are any patent for the products. And where governments have various there are various benefits, means a trademark patents. So all in case of a startups, all these are reimbursed up to 50%, sometimes it is 60%, in some cases it is more than that also. So you have to go through all the schemes available for the this startups also. And there is one portal with the government, gem portal. So once you have made the product, suppose you have made a bamboo bottles, so you don't know what where to sell that products, then you can easily list your products in the gem portal. Or if you are making any pen, so stationery items are required at a various means every offices, whether it is a corporate office or whether it is a ministry offices. So there are various tenders are available in gem portals, so you can register within gem portal and easily sell your products with the ministries, corporate offices. There are bulk orders, they can you can get the bulk orders, but you should have a proper knowledge and you should have the proper stocks. Then only you can miss have the bulk orders can be done on time. Otherwise, your image will be affected. So you should be updated with the technology. What are the trainings? Your communication should be very much proper. Means if you are communicating with the means customer or you are communicating with the investors, so your communication should be very much proper. So if you are very much good in these four skills, you can easily do any type of business, whether it is a startup, MSME, any business. Then there are various forms of business or form, like you can do business as a sole proprietorship, partnership. Partnership can be registered, unregistered, LLP, private limited companies, one person companies, section 8 companies, public limited companies, joint ventures. So the simplest form of doing the business is sole proprietorships. Only means you can get the you want to do the business, you know, means get the MSME certificate, Gumasta certificate, and you start the business at a sole proprietorship. And then once you cross the turnover, you can get the GST registration for this, and you can easily, and the PAN number would be the same as of the individual. So it is a very easiest form of doing the business. But here the liability is very much more. So in case of a partnership, also the same it has happened. LLP, LLP is LLP form is also very good form of it is the most very much in demand. It is same as like a private limited company, so it is also listed with the MC websites. So if you are LLP, it can be suppose you want to convert a LLP into private limited company, it would be very much easy to do the business because it is registered with the same web MCA, and the names are also very much, you don't have to search any other name for that business. So it is very good. Here as the name limited liability. So liability of a partners, two partners are limited, and the same their they would be having the different PAN number, anything, PAN number, other details also. And one a private limited company, two directors should be there, and it would be registered with the MC. Minimum two directors would be there. So it can very much because it is very easy, and the company is a separate form of organization other than the individuals. So it is a different identity you can get, and easily suppose you want to have an investor, you can easily dilute your equity with the investors. So very much in case of a startups, it is very much in demand. So mostly the means in startups mostly they form LLP or a private limited company. Section 8 companies are for the non-profit organization and public limited companies registered with the MCS. So they go for the IPO, then it is a public limited company, joint ventures and branches. So what do you mean by startup? First of all, so in case of a startup, there is no separate act. Like if we go for the partnership act, if we go for the companies act, there is a separate companies act, partnership act. But in case of a startup, there is no such a startup act available as such. So there is no such definition for the startup anywhere. So, but for the simple, what do you mean by the startup? Startup should be like there should be such business which have innovative and creative idea. It should be a scalable business, and the risk taking, so founder co-founder should be having the ability to take the risk. Innovative ideas like there can be waste management startups, there can be startups on any other like EV, are there like Ola, there can be means various it's like a there previously there was one-to-one selling, means uh, one-to-one selling, I'm the seller, you are the customer, so one-to-one selling. There now it is a one, means platform selling is there. Means once you create the platform, you can easily reach to the number of peoples. So it is very good. Within a lesser time, you can reach to the number of customers. So innovative ideas are there, or you can have the miss process is minimized. Like you can recycle the PET bottles, you can recycle the miss PET bottles into and make the means uh, t-shirts, shoes. So very innovative ideas. So once it is a both, not you are creating both awareness, like you are de- helping the society as well. So in case of a startup, sir, there is a various uh, ideas which can help the society as well, and the customers also. Like if there are Zomato app, so Zomato and Swiggy, you can get the delivery of your products, delivery of your food at your home. So you don't have to travel and so it is very much good. In Meesho and Flipkarts, like such apps, you get the variety of products at a very reasonable rates, and you can easily explore number of items. So there are various innovative and creative ideas are there, and they are scalable. Like a Zomato, they are presence is all over India. Even they have gone for the international presence also is there for the Zomato is available. So there is only one definition of the which is available in the Startup India portal, which is given by the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, DIPP, now termed as Department of Promotion of Industrial and Internal Trade, DPIIT. So what is that? So that is startup would be considered as any business who is up to 10 years of incorporation. So once my company is incorporated at this 25, so I was means if I've registered within the 35, so I'm a startup. A startup should be a private limited company, partnership, or LLP. My turnover should not be any more in any financial year should not be more than 10 crores. It should be towards innovation, development, and improvement of product or process. So it is all covering everything. Process, if you are process because of a process, suppose any uh, thing would the process is minimized. Anything material was made in 3 days. Now it can be made in 2 hours. So process is minimized with the development of any technology or anything, or it can be new product. Services are also included in these startups. So various services are there, like you can easily there are QR codes are available, so you can don't have to do your business you don't have to give visiting cards. You can easily scan the QR codes and you can get the details of that business or any professionals easily. So it should be for the development and improvement. It should be a scalable model. Means your business should not be restricted to one particular area. Means if you are starting a business in suppose MP or in Gujarat, it is not restricted to that a particular area. It should be a scalable business. It should be means you should have a vision that you would be covering. Right now you are covering MP, and then you would be covering Gujarat, then this so UP and everything. So you should be have a scalable business. Means pan India business can be easily done, or even you can go international, and it should be have a potential for generation of wealth as well as a job. There means like once you start a business, you can easily give the jobs to number of people. So it's like if there are various startups which give like if you have seen Shark Tank, Farm Didi, so they give jobs to number of females who are very much good in making achar, papad, like such items, and they are doing at their home as well as they have the centers all over there, and they are making their at free time they are making their products and giving them, and the marketing and everything run by the co-founder founders. So there are various um, in case of a startup, there are various opportunities are given to the particular segment, like a females target, or there can be waste management. There can be such startup which are very much dedicated to only youth, or such startups there which are very much dedicated only to the um, uh, dedicated to the babies. So, various doc in case of a business, there are various documents. We if you do any type of a business, various documents required would be like a PAN card. You should have a TAN number, voter ID, Aadhaar card, individual. So these are the basic documents which you which you would be requiring at the time of registration of any businesses. You should have a bank statement, passport, and address confirmation. So there should be a rent agreement or a lease deed, business authority letter, article of association and memorandum of association, partnership agreement, DIN in case of a company. DIN stands for the director identification number. So DIN in case of a so DSC. So digital signatures are also there. It should be there. Any type of services all covered in this. So startup funding models. So we would be considering startup funding. What will be the startup funding models? So to have the funding, to raise the funds for the startups, you should have the proper business plan first of all. So business plans should be like you should prepare a proper pitch deck for your startup. So in this that pitch deck, you should be covering this all this business plan. What is your business plan? What will be the target audience? What is the market opportunity? What are the advantages and financial projections, so that the investors can easily invest in your business. Financial modeling means financial projections should also be be there? What will be the revenue projections, the growth in the business, how much capital you would be requiring in future, right? Suppose they are ready to invest your 10 lakh rupees, but you should means very much sure that with if you get 10 lakh rupees, whether you it would be sufficient for your business or not, whether you would be requiring any funds in future also or not, and if you would be requiring funds in the future, at what interval you would be requiring. Suppose 10 lakhs would be sufficient for only 2 to 3 months, or whether it would be sufficient for 6 months. Your projection should be very much clear. Or if like what is the growth, means right now you are selling 100 products in a month, means in a year 1200 products, then we are whether you would be selling 5000 in means next year or more less than that. So your projection should be very much clear, then only you can easily predict that this much funds would be required. Pitch deck creation, very pitch deck creations is very important in case of a startup. So it is like a when we go for any interview, we give our CV. So in case of a startup, when we go for the investment, pitch deck is the one document which clearly define everything about our startup. So it has a various market opportunities, what is our business model, what would be our funding requirement. So it also take our care of our valuation. So everything means in short, all the details are given in the pitch deck. It can be a one pager pitch deck, it can be a means 10 to 13 slides pitch deck. It can clearly define everything about our startup, who are the founder, who are the co-founder, what are their background, academic qualifications, what are their business, whether their business is into IT or any EV or whether any other sector. So what is the future of that sector? Means how they have analyzed. Suppose they are into the any startup which is making food items. So whether they have gone for the miss a market research or not, they have taken the feedback from the customers or not. So what are the review about their product from the customers? So everything is considered in that pitch deck. So they are suppose they have a target audience of 100,000, and 600 are very much satisfied with their product. So and the price range, they have decided that the price range should be that. So everything should be there in the pitch deck. So in short, pitch deck is the one document which clearly specify everything about the startup. And then in case of a startup, there are three stages. So there startup initial startup means when the startup is started. So it is called as a early stage. Only idea is there in your mind that I would want to do such business. What will be the means future of means I have only idea, but how to means where to get the information, how to develop that product, how to develop that software. Um, I need one more time. Only idea is there, or there can be a MPV. MPV means a minimum viable product. Means you have idea and if you have created that means a uh, pro prototype of that idea. Like suppose you want to create a software or a app. So you have created an app, so that is early stage startup. So then there is a growth. Means your startup is completed 2 to 3 years and you have started generating revenue. Then it is called as a growth stage startup. So it is like a you have started generating revenue. So in this you can easily get the funding. Then there are mature startups which can easily go for the IPO. So in case of early stage startups, so early stage startups can be have taken the valuations also, means how to value such startups. So in case of early stage startup, it can be valued as per the cost approach, means whatever the assets, means suppose you are developing any software, what will be the cost of that software, or how much means time taken, cost per hour you have taken for to develop that software, who means what are the means resources you are consider for developing such a software. The cost of that would be considered as the base for taking the valuation. Or it can be on the market approach. Suppose any other startups is there, you can easily have the benchmark for that. Growth stage, So in growth stage, you have started generating revenue. So it is very good. Since you are just started generating revenue, you can easily go for the any income model, like a DCF model is there. So you can start means you can easily calculate the cash flows available with you, and based on the cash flows and profits, so you can easily go for the valuation. And then there are mature startups which can go for the IPO. So in case of a IPO, means like you have the 10-year. Normally, startup should have a 10 years vision. Means in 25, I have started the business. Within 10 years, I should go for the IPO. Like even you can go IPO before also. So normally, early stage startup is start with the bootstrap. Then they can go for the series A, B, C, D. It can be up to G. Then they can go for the IPO. So normally, two types of startup, pre-revenue or post-revenue. So pre-revenue means they are only early stage startup, and post-revenue means a growth stage and as well as a major startup. So normally, a startup starts from the bootstrap. Means bootstrap means nothing but funds, whatever the funds available with them. So, like if you have seen the Shark Tank, they normally ask the whether the you have it is a bootstrap startup. Uh, so means whatever the funds, suppose you have 5 lakh rupees and you start a business, then it is called as a bootstrap startup. But you after 5 lakh rupees, you have taken funds from any other person or angel investor or venture capitalist, then you can it is called as a when the if your first it is a series one round for funding, series B round funding, so it can be up to means GH, whatever you round you means are available. But there can be such very other startups are like after ABC, they go for the IPO. Like if you go for the like a Zepto, they are means within 6 months they would be going for the IPO. So first the startup is started with the bootstrap, means having the own funds, whatever the resources which are available with you, the startup is started. So it can be anything like existing resources, personal savings, personal computing equipments, garbage space. So whatever requirements, resources we require to use the business to grow. Then it is funded by the angel investors. So as the name suggests, angel investors, they are the angels, means they are ready to invest in the startups at that point of time when no one is interested into invest in the business, because right now there is much risk in the business. Means whether you would be having, means there can be a downfall within a 1 or 2 year, your business would shut down, or with or your business will flourish. There is no prediction can be there. There are probability 50% probability is there right now. So at that point of time they are investing in your business, so they are called as angel investors. And in case of angel investors, their investments are limited, means they can invest up to only 10 to 20 lakhs rupees in initial stage. But there are ask, means the equity they ask would be much more. Then there are venture capitalists, and mature startups can go for the IPO, like a Zomato has gone for the IPO, Mama Earth. There are various other, First Cry have gone for the, Swiggy has gone for the IPO. So there are various startups which can go for the IPO. So funding for the startups can be equity financing, means like you give your equity shares, means co-founders are ready to give their equity shares and get the investments. But in this only ownership is transfer, so you don't have to, means there is no obligation for the repayment. Then there are debt financing, means you get the loans from the various like you can get the loans in the form of convertible debentures, convertible bonds, which can there is term that after the such term it can be converted into equity shares, means, or it cannot be converted into equity shares. So it is, there can be a term sheet would be there. So suppose it for the 3 years they would be you have to give them the interest payment would be there. And even there would be clause that after 3 years you would have to pay the investment or debt amount, repayment of the principal amount, as well as they can also be converted into equity shares. Then alternative funding sources are also available for the startups, like crowdfunding, and then accelerators, grants are also available for the startups. So there are different modes for the startups funding. Like if you first is a bootstrap, means whatever funds are available with you, you can start the business. So pros, full ownership and control of the company, no debt, no equity, means you don't have to dilute any equity, no debt. But whatever the resources you are available with, you can easily utilize that resources. But there are certain disadvantage also, because a limited source of funds, means you are anyone would be having like lesser amount, 5 lakhs, 10 lakh rupees, or even you get from the family and friends, it can be up to 20-25 lakhs, not more than like that. But to if you want to scale your business, you should be having the external fundings. So you have to go for the other round of fundings. So if you don't get the fundings, your growth would be hampered. So there can be a financial risk. Then angel investors. So as angel investors are high net worth investors, individuals are there, or there can be a few other companies also which invest in the businesses. So angel investors, earlier also I said that angel investor invest in the business at that point of time when there would not be any much assurance whether the investment will go, growth would be there, or there would be a downfall in the business. So the probability of chances are 50-50. So at that point of time they invest in the business. So normally they ask for the more, ask would be more, means equity dilution would be more, and the investment would be lesser up to 10 to 25 lakhs means they would be investing in the business. So it is good, instead of shutting down the business, you get the funds, and even sometimes you get the mentoring also, like in Shark Tank, if they invest in the business, they also mentor that startup, they are into the advisory boards, flexible investment in terms are there. But only cons are the equity dilutions. You have to give their equity, you have to give the ownership of the business. There can be potential loss of the control. High expectations of the returns. Suppose they are, since they are investing in the business at that point of time where there is no much assurance, so they demand for the more returns. Means they are in, the exit would be more. Like they would ask for the 2x exit, 3x exits. So they are investing only 10 lakh rupees, but they ask for 2x means at the time of exit they would ask for the 20 lakh rupees. So sometimes they can also ask for the royalty. So once royalty on the sale of the goods. So any sale of the goods, they would be asking for the royalties. Then there are venture capitalists. So venture capitalists are nothing but the firms which are means companies or firms which invest more funds in the business. So their investment are more, 25 to 100 crores investments are there. Larger amount of can be available. Even expertise and mentorships are available. They can be on advisory board. So equity dilutions would be there, but lesser. At the initial stage, the dilution is more, but investment is less. But at later stage, the dilution, suppose they only ask for the 5% or 10% equity. So dilution would be lesser, since you already have the means business is in a growth stage. You can easily show that you can be in a much uh, negotiate terms. You can easily negotiate. You can easily negotiate with the investors. You can pitch properly at that point of time, because you can have the previous year figures available with your that yes, whatever we are in a right stage. We are what we have predicted that after 2 years we would be reaching this profit. We have already reached that profits, and we are done beyond our expectations. So at this point of time, your negotiation ability would be much. So it is better, and you get the funds and dilution would be lesser, mentoring would be more. Then there are crowdfunding. So there are crowdfunding means a lesser amount. Suppose thousand rupees are invested by 1 lakh people, and you start a business, but it is very time consuming. So large pool of potential investors are required, marketing tools. So how they would invest? So you should have run a campaign for that. So then only they would be knowing that yes, you want to funds and you can for doing such business. So crowdfunding, it is very time consuming. You have to invest more in the marketing campaign, and even after investing in the market campaign, there is no surety that would be getting the funds also. So it is a very time consuming. Normally this type of fundings are lesser in demand. Then there are bank loans. So if you get the bank loans, so from any bank loans, it's like if we talk about the MP, so MP Startup Center has a tie up with the HDFC Bank. So HDFC banks give loans to the startups, and the rates are also very nominal. But their startups should be at a growth stage. Startups, then they are funding the startups, and mostly the so if you get the loans, so there would not be any equity dilutions. So and repayments would be fixed. That 10%, 8% interest you have to pay. Even on the interest, you get the tax benefits. So, but only the collateral. You should be having a good CIBIL score. Even the board director CIBIL scores as well as the business CIBIL scores are also matters. So, and if any one of a director CIBIL is not good, of one founder or co-founder direct CIBIL is not good, then you would not get the funds from the banks. So yeah, CIBIL check is very important in case of if you want to get the want funds from the banks. So there are three CIBILs, means both director CIBIL as well as the company CIBILs are required. So you should have that a proper credit history. Interest payment should more because of the interest payment, your means cash flows will be also affected. So you should be having sufficient funds so that you pay the interest payments on time. Then there are grants and competitions. So there are various competitions are there. Events are arranged, hackathons are arranged on various platforms, incubation centers. And most of the startups participates in them. And if they win, if their ideas are liked by any persons, they would be getting the grants, or they would be getting any prize monies. So, like if it is very innovative startups, so the Startup India portal, from the Startup India portal, you can easily get grants up to 20 lakh rupees. So, if we and the startup should be having the awards, or you should be having the patents. Such startups would getting the grants. So awards from them is a state government or any national level awards should be there to claim the grants. Otherwise, there it would not be easily available. So in case of a or competition, if you participate in a competition hackathons, then cash prizes are limited. Sometimes it is a lesser, 1 to 2 lakh rupees, or sometimes it is more than, like recently the IIT Mumbai has the cash prize of 2 crore rupees. So once you go, means there are zonal round, after there are other rounds are available, then the semi-final, final rounds. If any startups go through the final rounds and are selected, then they can easily approach to up to 2 crore rupees. So in case of grants and equity, no grants and competition, there would not be equity dilution, free capital. Since grants and there would not be any repayments. So if you get the 20 lakh rupees as a grant, you don't have to repay to the government again that amount. So you can easily utilize that amount in your business. But it is a very highly competitive, very difficult to obtain, because if Any competition is also there, and the many startups are there to come participate. So a very tough competition is there, and even strict compliances are means your compliances should be very much properly reporting requirements means all the means paperwork should be very much means you have paid your GST on time, your income tax returns are done on time, audits are done. So all things are checked before giving any grants or no. Then, as I said, the mature startup can go for the IPO. So before 2009, there was no such a scheme for the IPO. So no, SME IPO, the origin of SME IPO has started from November 2009. So SEBI decided to allow SAP exchanges. So the like BSE, NSE. So both these BSE, NSE have their another exchange for the SME platforms. So like BSE, they have a BSE SME and NSE, they have an Emerge. So they both have created a different platforms. Like BSE, there is a Sensex, and there is a NSE, there is a Nifty. For SME, there is a BSE SME, and a NSE Emerge. So different platform for the SME. So they have to list in these platforms like as on 21st September 2014, there was 1,025 52 companies were listed on these platforms. On BSE, it is 525, and rest on SME. And even after this listing, once having a good track record of 3 years, then this from this platform they are shifted to the main board. So once they have to list on the SME platform, then they can easily merge to main platform like BSE and Sensex and NFT. So like if we go background history of this, how much funds have been raised from this MSME. So from there was a 2000, since it is 2009 it was started. So 2012 was the first year in which there was a SME issue, SME IPO was there, and they have raised 7.25 crore in that. So up to 2004, there was a 1,074 companies were there which means SMEs which have gone for the issues, and they have raised funds from this IPO, which is nothing but the 19 crore to 43, 19 crore to 19,000 to 43 crores from this IPO, SME IPOs. So it is very much in demand. So if your startup is very much in profitable situation, you can easily go for the IPO. There are very less restrictions in case of a SME IPO. So main IPO, there are more restrictions, but in case of a SME IPO, there are certain lesser restrictions are there. So like what would be the listing criteria? So there should be a 3 years company or LLP or proprietorship or partnership firm. So it should be a completed 3 years, and from 3 years there should be a 2 years profit record. So if your business is 3 year existence, and out of 3 years you have 2 years are profitable, you can easily go for the SME IPO. And your net tangible assets means whatever investments you have made in the plant and machinery, which are tangible assets. So minimum 3 crore investment should be there. Net worth minimum 1 crore for 2 preceding full financial year should be there. You should have your website. It should not be referred to NCLT any matters. So there should not be means voluntary liquidation or any other means you should not means bankers fee any NCLT matter should not be there. No winding up a petition against the company. Then you can easily go for the IPO. Lesser restrictions as compared to main IPO. So if you go for the main board and SME platform, so on main board, post issue paid up capital should not be not less than 10 crores. But in case of a SME, less than 25 crores. In case of a main IPO, allotment should be minimum allotment should be to the 10,000 investors. But in case of a SME, the allottees are only 50. So you can easily target 50 investors are means easily available. In case of a main board, the all the SEBI has the full control. But in case of the means whatever the documentations are is to be filed with the SEBI. Means for documents and everything should to be filed with the SEBI. But in case of a SME IPO, it is up to the stock exchange. Means if you want to go for the BSE, then BSE has certain missile offer document listing restrictions and everything. They have to follow their BSE. If you want to go for the NSE listing, you have to follow the NSE. So it is up to the stock exchange in which stock exchange you want to list your business. And market capitalization issue size, there is no restriction whether you go for the main IPO or SME IPO. IPO application size, this is important. Suppose you go for the main board, there is normal investment is of 10 to 15,000 rupees. So if I want to invest in any IPO, minimum requirement would be only 10 to 15,000 rupees. I can get means sometimes means if share price is less than, I can easily get 10 100 shares. But if a share price is more, I can get 5 to 10 shares. But in case of a SME, not less than rupees 1 lakh. So this is main. So investment. So anyone would not be much investing 1 lakh rupees in the business is more. Means you can easily take the risk of a 10 to 15,000. But in case of a SME, there is not less than 1 lakh rupees. So more than 1 lakh rupees investment is required. So that's why it is only lottery is only 50. So it could since more investments are taken from this only 150 allottees investments, you can easily gather more amount. Post issue compliances. So in case of a main board, there are quarterly compliances. Means after IPO you have to quarterly give your financials. Like every quarter you have to publish your financials. What are your track record, means how much you have done the means revenue generation, what are the sales. So all everything it should be audited, quarterly audits. So you have to give a quarterly financial projections. But in case of SME, it is half yearly. In case of a main IPO, it is as per the Indus app. So as per Indian accounting standards. But in case of a SME, it is as per the GAP, globally accepted accounting standards. So 2014, 24. So startup has a very much growth up to from the it is from there was much growth in the startups. So up to March 24, we have to consider 1.25 lakh DPIIT registered startup. So there are number of startups which has recognized. So startup is considered as a registered startup when it is got a DPIIT registration. Then only it is a registered startup. Then only it can go easily various schemes like a seed funding and the other schemes can be easily available if it is a DPIT registered startups. Otherwise, they would not be, uh, even if we go for the investments, whether it is angel investor or venture capitalist, if it is DPIT registered startup, then only it is they would be ready to invest in such startups. Then in 24 we have 6 unicorns, and India is now having 117 unicorns. So India is the third largest ecosystem for the startups. So ecosystem is nothing but the means all the uh, all the means who all the bodies which are helping startup to boost. Like it can be a incubation center, it can be government bodies, it can be banks, it can be universities, it can be angel investors, venture capitalists. All these are the are part of the ecosystems. Mentors, all these are the part of ecosystem which help the startups to boost from the initial stage to the at a means growth stage. So India has a third largest ecosystem for the startups. Then the key government initiatives for the startups in 24, the abolition of angel tax. So government has abolished the means this no this was not no, up to 24. Before 24 it was there, but after 24 it would means government has abolished this angel tax, so there is no financial burden on the startups. They can easily get the investments. Then the seed fundings, so over 2000 crores was dispersed for the early stage startups by the seed funding from the Startup India portal. They can easily get the seed fundings from the various incubation centers. Patents, so up to 20 from 20, 14 5,978 it was disbursed to 1,000 up to all the patents were granted for the startups. So all the process and the compliances were easy for the startups. The government has a various initiatives so that the startups would get the funds easily, properly, and all the compliances are lesser for the startups, so can they easily boost the economy because they help to boost the economy very well. So there are 12 Indian startups which went for the public, means they went for the IPO into the 24. In case of a fintech, it was Digit. In case of a travel, IXO. So there are these type of startups are there. First Cry, Ola Electric. So all these 12 startups went for the IPO in 2024. Then there is a key sector shaping the future. So if your startup is in these key sectors like fintech, if your startup is in fintech, health tech, quick commerce like a Blinkit, Zomato means 10 minutes delivery. So you can easily raise the funds. So all these startups, if your startups are in these areas, you can easily have the good future because these are the growing sectors. Uh, like it can be a renewable energy, AI. AI is very much in agri-tech, green tech startups, edutech, EV mobility, cyber security, FMCG. So all these startups, you can easily get the funds because all these are emerging areas where the startup can easily flourish. So, so 2025. So if anyone want to do means start any business, then they should think for this type of a startup. So mostly the startup fails because of various reasons like lack of consumer demands. So lack of consumer demands. So you have not done the market research of your product properly. So whatever you are means manufacturing or trading any product, it is not much in demand. So there should not you have to do the proper market research before introducing any product in the market. So if your if your product is not liked by the customers, then usually your startup will fall. insufficient money. So if you do not uh, manage your finance very well, you invest much in the other unnecessary things, then you're obviously, because of a insufficient management of funds, your startup will fall. Like Byju's is the biggest example for this. Poor management. If your means finance people are not properly management is not there, then your startup will. Pricing model means whatever the price you have set for the product, it is very much means it should not be very much too low, it should not be very much too high, because if it is your target audience is very much limited, but if it is a minimum uh, good range, then you are easily attract a good number of customers. Poor marketing. So if your marketing is not proper, you do not run a proper marketing campaigns, social media ads, then you cannot reach to the number of customers. So your means obviously if you don't reach to number of customers, automatically your startup will not flourish. Customer satisfaction. If your customers are not satisfied, then you will easily not get the good response from the customers. Legal issues. If there are legal issues, like if you are not done your compliances on time, there can be a GST tax payment, income tax compliances. Miss, if you are causing 40 lakhs turnover and you have not done GST registration, then obviously your startup, because of this, your startup may fall. Or there are many other compliances like audits on time. Uh, your DIN should be verified, KYC of your directors, so, and filing of ROC, filing of audit reports with the ROC, other various ROC compliances are there. If you are not doing your compliances on time, obviously your investors would not be miss there. It would be difficult for you to get the investment from the investors, because the investors see audited financial statements, other compliances are done on time or not. So due diligence are very important. Before investing in the business, they see the due diligence, whether it is angel investor, venture capitalist, any type of investor is there. They first demand all the your financials, because your financials, if your financials and all the compliances are done on time, then only they would be interested in investing your business. So how you means once you get the funds, how you want utilize that funds, how you can do the budgeting and forecasting for that funds. So plan expenses such as a rent. What will, suppose you are taken any property on rent, then what will be the rent for the next 6 months or at least 1 year? What would be your rent payment? Means how you can means plan your expenses, utilities, water payments, electricities, salaries of your employees. Your suppose you have hired 6 employees for their salaries, so you should have sufficient for next 6 months. First, use personal savings, seek investors, consider loans and grants. So once business is started from the bootstrap, then you can start for searching investors. So from the initial stage, only you should start from the investment. Whether you can means if you are a very innovative product, you can go for the grant. You take the patents, or if you are have get any prize from the any state government or law, national level awards are there. You can approach for the grants. Even if you are if suppose you are, if your startup is a product based startup, you can explore for the banking loans also. So since in case of a product, banks can easily give the loans, but in case of services, banks normally don't give loans. So you can have you can explore to the investors. You have to go to the various events, There are various events by invocation centers, various event, in startup Mahakumbh are there, also there are there. So various startups investors are there. So pitch your startup at such good platforms. So you can easily get the investors. Plan for 6 months. Keep an emergency funds. So emergency funds is very important because you never know if you don't get the investment on time, then how you will survive. You have to pay the rent on time, you have to pay the salaries on time, so you have to keep the emergency fund for available with you. Regularly checking the spendings. So checking the spendings means how much means whatever uh, revenue I have generated, how much I have spent, and what is left. So cash flow should be properly maintained. So every day or monthly checking should be there. Means how much cash is available with you. What within how much period you would be requiring next round of funding. So if you are very much sure in advance, then you can easily approach to the investors on time. So in case of like bootstrap planning, normally when you start your business, so smarts, you start with a very small, begin with whatever what are available with you at the home. You start the business, use of financial savings. You use your means suppose the business is started with you, then you right that time, no, you don't employ other means employees would not be there. After once your business start means in a growth stage, then you employ the uh, employees, hire the employees, make the your startup as a revenue generation, revenue generating. Cost cutting measures should be there. Means you should be focus on only essential marketing. If you want to run a product campaigning or social media, so you should have the proper projections of your marketing also. You should not utilize unnecessary on your personal expenses. Build a prototype. So you should build with the whatever the funds we are available with you. First, you build a prototype. Then only you can easily go get the fundings from the investors. So how with the limited funds, how you can plan means set goals. What would be the your short-term goals and long-term goals? Then only you can easily plan the activities. You list all the activities and you can plan easily, utilize the resources. Suppose up to my target is this. So I would be taking care of this in this month, this in this that month. So easily you can have the allocation of your resources. Budgeting would be proper, and after budgeting also you should review your budget. Means I have means budgeted for suppose only 2 lakhs for the marketing, but I have incurred more than that, 2 lakh 50. So 50,000 is more expenses I have incurred. So why extra amount of and how, if I have incurred this extra amount, how I can nullify that amount. Means if I am investing more in marketing, my means revenue generation should be also be more. So properly reviewing is important. Then the person who is starting the business, the founder, the co-founder should know all these terms. What would you mean by budgeting? Budgeting means what is the earnings? What are the earnings you are having, or what are the revenue generation from the means selling the product or services? You should allocate properly for the expenses, like for salary payment, rent payment, other payments, marketing. So you should properly allocate the resources for the various expenses. Then income is nothing but whatever the income raised from the selling the product or services, or if you invested your amount. Suppose you get the 10 lakh rupees, you invested 2 lakh rupees in any other business, then you from that in business whatever your returns are there, that it would be your income. Expenses to run the business, there are a number of expenses like say means there are admin expenses, rent expenses, salary, marketing, legal expenses. So there are various expenses. You should know the what is your profit and loss statement, cash flows, what are your cash inflow and cash outflows from the business, emergency fund. So emergency fund is also very required because if you don't get the investment on time, your emergency fund would be utilized for meeting your day-to-day expenses. So for this, means for having proper projections and everything, you should have a proper recording. Bookkeeping means you have to record every expenses on time. All the financial transactions should be on time. Means if you're spending whatever your revenue generation, you should properly monitor your revenue generation. How much units are sold on 4th January, how much on 5th January, what will be the how much will be covered in this January month, how much in February month. Your financial projection should be properly. So for financial projection should be properly, your accounting should be properly. Means if you I know that in January I have completed 100 units sale, then only I can predict that in February I would be covering at least 150. If you don't know that I have whatever means I have sold 100 or 80 units in January, then how you can get the projection? So for having the proper projection, you should have the proper accounting. And if you have proper accounting, proper cash flows maintained properly, you know profits and loss of the from the business, you can easily project the business. You can have the proper tax planning, means how you means whether if you take the any investment means if you take any bank loans, then whether you would be easily paying the interest on time or not. If you don't know your what is net income, then how you can be able to means predict that I would pay the interest on time or not. So proper recording of all the expenses, all the revenue, all the cash flows, inflows, it is very important. If you don't have, it is not possible to hire any third uh, person, professional, then you can easily note down in the Excel or any, there are various uh, apps are also there. So you can easily monitor your day-to-day expenses from the initial stage. Then only you can easily have the proper profit and loss. So how you can miss know what is the means how much profit you have earned from the business. So there are financial ratios. So you can, if you know this financial ratios, you can easily miss gross profit ratio. Miss suppose I have I'm selling one unit at 100 rupees and now I've purchased that unit from at rupees 50 rupees and now incurred miss direct expenses for this miss suppose from that go down to this I have incurred 10 rupees. So 60 rupees was incurred. So 40 rupees was my gross profit for this product. So gross profit 40 rupees divided by sell 100. So I should know the gross profit from the product. Economic, these are called economic units. If you should know the means what is the gross margin available in my product, then only you can do the pricing properly. Because if you don't know the how much costing of your product, then you cannot set the price properly. So gross profit is, then there are net profit. Means net profit is after considering other day-to-day expenses like admin expenses, salary payments for selling that product. You run an ad, there's marketing expenses, or you employ an sales executive, then payment of the salary of that sales executive, that is a payment. So you after deducting all these expenses, you get the net profit. Net profit divided by net sales is the net profit of your business. Then return on assets ratio means how much, since you have invested in the total asset, like suppose you have plant and machinery or neither whatever the assets you have invested. So how much invest return you are want from this investments? How much return you want from this business? 40%, 30%. You should know properly. Return on equity ratio means how much is means what is your equity share? So net income divided by equity shareholder equity. So it is very important, but since you are everyone do the business to have the profits, so you should know the how much profit you are earning, how much return you are means suppose if you want utilizing that time, if you doing the biz instead of business you are employed anywhere, you would be getting 60,000 70,000 as a salary, and instead of that you utilizing your time in doing that business, so it should be worthful to do the business. You should get at least that much amount from that business. So if you able to generate revenue from that business, then only it is a for you to do the business. Then there are efficiency ratios, like how much efficient means efficiency ratio means how much within how much time you can means convert, like you have done the sales. After sales, it is converted into credit debtors, receivables. So receivables are how much within how many days it is can be converted into cash. So receivable turnover ratio, net credit sales divided by average account receivables. So within how much time it is means how much easily or within how many days you can easily recover your amount from sales to cash. Sales, debtors to cash. Then again cash. Once you get the cash, you can uh, easily stock new products. So from inventory turnover within how many easily uh, convert your inventory into the sales. So how much you have should be having the average inventory. You should be there should not be any shortage of inventory in your stock. So within suppose you should have an inventory of 10,000 units, but your daily monthly cycle is of 20,000 inventory. So you should have the 20,000 inventory in your stock. Then only your inventory would be within that time it would be converted into sales. Then there are liquidity ratios. So current ratio, current assets divided by current liabilities. Whatever your current assets like sundry creditors are there, sundry debtors are there, cash and bank balances. So and stock divided by current liabilities, current sundry creditors, and or any other loans. So it should be normal. It should be 2:1. If it is more than 2:1, it is not considered as a good. Then cash ratios, cash and cash equivalents means cash and cash equivalents are cash and bank balances and divided by current liabilities. Current asset ratio means how quickly you can convert your current assets means sundry sales and stocks and debtors into this. So it is not considering the inventory items asset ratio. So it should be 1:1. So within how many means how much cash would be there to pay your current liabilities. Then there is a leverage ratios means means there should not be much debt on the company. So you should miss if you are having much debt on the company, there should be a regular payment on the interest payment would be there. So your funds should be properly there to utilize. Means you should have the sufficient cash flows to have the interest payments on time. So there is interest coverage ratio, operating income divided and interest expenses, debt coverage ratio means total debt. Means of since you have to repay the principal payments also on time, so operating income divided by total debt. Equity debt to equity ratio. So debt to equity ratio means the total liabilities, how much liability you have taken from the bank or whether you have taken from the investors in form of convertible debentures or bank loans. So how much it would be just so that there should not be any burden on you. So you should know all these ratios, debt to equity ratio. Then there are market values. So what will be the valuation of your company? There, what your price earning ratio? How much you are earning? Sale price, share price to earning per share, market to book value. So price of one share or to book value of one share, earning per share. So net earnings means how much net earning you have got from the business divided by total number of shares. So you should know if you even if you want to invest in another business, you should know all these ratios, whether they are performing well or not. So if anyone want to invest in your business, if you are going for the IPO, then you have to demonstrate all these ratios. Then only the other person would be ready to whether this startup is having good track record. They are not having any more debt. Ratios are not there. Their current ratio is also properly. Then only they would invest in your business. So thank you. I have completed my presentation. Thank you for patient hearing. If anyone want to ask anything, they can ask. It is a open discussion.
Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation and explaining topic in simplifying way. Now I request all the participants and delegates, if you have any question, you can unmute yourself and ask directly to the ma'am, or you can put your questions in the chat box.
Anyone want to ask anything, they can ask. I have tried to com complete it in a very simplified way so that everyone can understand easily. Still, if anyone has any doubts, they can ask.
Ma'am, I think there is a question from Dr. Sundar Kataria, sir.
Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
you have earlier said that startup business can take up to 10 years. Is it meant to say that startup business must have the planning of the 10 years?
Startup, yeah, planning means there should be a vision of 10 years that within 10 years I should be means I should be much in a position to go for an IPO. Means from the day one business you should have a great vision. Great. Then only you can plan big.
Means you mean to say that you have to make a span of 10 years of period, right?
Yeah, 10 years period. But before also you can go for the any IPO or anything means like Zepto. If you see the Zepto, they have gone for, they would be ready in IPO, for IPO within a 6 months because they have raised the fundings very much, very initial stage. After 2 months, they've got a good fundings. Then after next 1.5 months, they got the fundings and easily they was the first unicorn within a very good lesser time of span.
Means is it all about funding or is it about profit too?
It is about funding as well as whatever the sector they are into, like the sector Zepto was in a sector like quick commerce, which is very much in demand. There's for the because of that only they get the investments, and the co-founder are very much enthusiastic. They are young entrepreneurs, and they are very much doing the business in very good way, and the scale model business model is very good. because they don't invest in developing warehouses. They have the uh, policy like a pick and plug policy, pick and drop policy. Means that
But
they
there
don't
is also the
have the
provision to
dark houses.
there is also a provision for the company to make a profit of the targeted amount for the issuance of the IPO, right?
I did not get your question.
According to the nature of the business, there is the provision for the business houses to make a certain amount of profit to issue an IPO.
For issue an IPO, there is
Uh,
almost
in,
there is no.
in Nepal, there is the provision for the companies to make a profit at least up to 3 years to issue a IPO.
Here it is 2 years.
2 years means it's not all about the funding, it's about the profit. How is the
Profit.
company going, and are they capable of issuing an IPO for the public, or it's just about raising the fund?
No. If you go for the SME IPO, you have to have a track record of 3 years. Means the company should be in existence for 3 years, and you should have a profitable business for at least 2 years. Then only you
Okay.
can go for the IPO.
All right. Means how we can take the conclusion from this session?
It should be profitable business.
Right. Okay, this much.
Thank you.
I hope I can clear your question, doubts.
Yeah. A very welcome, Nirmala ji, Soni. And it's a nice, you are from Udaipur or which place you are?
No. I am right now I am in Satna, MP, Madhya Pradesh.
Okay. Thank you. My compliments to you. And you have covered quite a lot within the given time. It was quite a thorough study you have done on this.
Try to in a very simplified way so that everyone can understand and
Yeah, and that's correct. But to a given time, it takes time to digest and accept. My question is very generic. Like this, there are a lot of entrepreneurs or new startup coming up, and government India is also supporting a big way. Now, I just want to know, these all companies, if you are going for IPO, means after 2 years or 3 years, that is a good provision by government of India. But however, in IPO, they had to invest a lot of money initially. One is this, my question. Second thing, is there is any provision where they can form a cooperative of various startup, say about 10 new companies they start up in same industrial area and go for a cooperative. And then they will be able to get a resources, various
there is
resources.
no such
Like,
cooperative, but there are escalators are there. Escalators are nothing but the venture capitalists, 4 5 venture capitalists, bigger accelerators are there. Accelerators, they invest in the startups. Or even you can go for the physics wala, they have started the school of startups. So they mentor the startups from very initial stages. They have their 5 days training for the startups. In they get the one-to-one training from the startups, and they if their startups are very good, if their startups have a means a great idea, and the even the mentors are from means like in shorts public other means very famous which are on the judges of Shark Tank. They mentor the startups, and they guide them, and if they like that startup, and they invest in that startups also. And even they have the 5 days training for this, and after they have one-to-one sessions for all the startups, and they also give the feedback whether you are on the right track or not. Means whether your name is properly or not, whether your segment is proper, whether your segment is very much good for the future or not. They
so
clearly
yeah.
give your vision properly.
They will provide them the entire consultancy and inputs for the
Yeah,
startup.
inputs. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever the inputs you require for the startup, I mean, so from the initial stage,
Hmm.
mentoring in case of a marketing or finance, from where we would be getting finance, whether your business model is properly or not. Since a few are focusing on, suppose, customized food items.
Yeah, yeah.
So they suppose you are doing any food items business, so you should have the market survey of that product. You should at least target 1,000 customers, 1,000 audience, and get the feedback from that customers. Then only you can easily demonstrate that your food items are properly, and it is not harming any proper person proper, and it is a good taste and everything.
Good, good. Now my question is like in Japan. Japan, all these corporate houses, big corporate houses, if you talk to them, and they support this new startup or their ancillary unit. That's a back to back. They provide finance, technology, they provide training of the people. Almost they are like their own subsidiary companies. But in India, is such provisions are there where the our like Reliance or Adani's or anybody going in the market and providing support to this small startups. Do you have you come across such a model?
Yeah, uh, not specifically Reliance, but Nita Ambani has started. They are means helping various artisans with the handicrafts, which are means from all over India, are associated with her, and her associate means foundation, and they are getting good businesses from India as well as from foreign also. Even the various means Shark Tank also, after Shark Tank and this physics wala, they have started on, even the Adani, they have not started, but big companies, they have the CSR funds available with them. The CSR funds are for utilized for such good causes.
Yeah, yeah. That really we have to compliment Ms. Nita Ambani, who is a really prime mover. And I have gone to Geo World, and I
Yeah, it
can
is.
see there are a lot of companies, means small manufacturers, handicraft, and being displayed, and they do nice paintings
Yeah,
and a lot of artwork, and really we have to
lot of
compliment
artwork.
her
More
with supporting.
than 70,000 artisans are registered with, means associated with her, and they are doing very well, and they are having good businesses.
Yeah, because they don't have to worry about the
That's
marketing
for them.
because such a big brand is marketing for them.
Yeah.
So that is good.
Yes.
Yeah, unlike
See, if
unlike India,
branding is very important in case of a startup. So from the initial stage, you should create a brand for your startup.
mm,
That,
but unlike India, in Nepal, I'm talking about the current situation of Nepal. In Nepal, it hasn't been quite an sparkling moment for the startup business in Nepal at the present moment. But some of the commercial houses are planning, and they are giving the sessions like this to motivate the small youngsters who are thriving and raising the voices for the startups to get the highlight. From the government sector, it hasn't been that much of support for the startup business in Nepal. So, how do you think that India can support the startup business in Nepal?
Uh, I'm not aware of the Nepal government, whether what are their policies and everything. But
Right.
I know various, like Japan is very good, having good business. Even Canada have their incubation center, plug and play incubation center is there in Canada, which is helping the startups. Even Europe is having a very good incubation centers which mentor the startups from the initial stage. Even in India, there are various incubation centers all over India. If in MP only, there are 7 to 8 incubation centers which are nurturing startups from the initial stage. Because from the initial stage, you are having only idea, not having the funds, or very limited source of funds. So if you
I'm
utilize that funds for the uh, your means having the building, office building and furniture, how you would develop the product. So these incubation centers provide this basic facilities like infrastructure facilities. They provide the cabins, they provide the laptops, desktops to your startups, so that they have to only concentrate on their idea. They have to first develop their minimum viable product. Then only they can go for the any such expenses like whatever infrastructure and everything.
I'm saying that not from the government side, but just like there are so many unions and all other staff unions. Not only that, there are so many entrepreneurs who can support, not by the government side, but from the personal or individual perspective. They can come over and they can research the segments of all the government sectors, and they can watch the startups, how they are thriving, how they want to build up, and they can simply assist in that, right?
Yeah, there can be miss bigger venture capitalists or angel miss accelerators who can go there and have the miss big events like in India there is some startup Mahakumbhs are organized. Like such events should be organized in Nepal so that the Nepal startups can grow up.
Yeah, recently there was a fintech. What was that? It was fintech electrotech 2024, where
Yeah,
all
so
the transformer suppliers were attended in a conference. Just it was last for 3 to 4 days.
yeah, it was
It
in
was
Mumbai only. Fintech startup drive was there in for 3 to 4 days, and it was very grand event happened, and very big shots have came over there. So yeah, means like in such bigger platforms, you get a good networking, and you get a means since networking and investors also, and even you can whether you are on a right track or not. Means you are a founder, you are interacting with other founder. So whether you are means on a right track, what are their plus and minus, you can easily uh, have the idea about the same. Even right now, there would be on 17 January, the ICAI has the this event in Mumbai for the startups. The startups can participate, CA community can participate. Even the startups can pitch their products, pitch their startup at the event, and there if they it is liked by the investors, they can invest in such startups. So it is from the ICI website 17 January, and from MP government invest in Bhopal is invest in Madhya Pradesh is there in Bhopal 7th and 8th February event is there, and investor Mahakumbh is also there. Even in Delhi, there was a trade fair in November, December. So such events create a good platform for the startups.
So thank you, ma'am. So I think time is also over, ma'am. So can we move ahead, ma'am?
Thank you.
If more questions are there, I'm ready to answer the same.
Yeah.
But if no questions are there, then it's okay.
I think that there are others Nepalese too who would want to raise some questions, but I'm not getting that. Are there anyone? Are
Write
there
on
anyone?
box, I can easily answer.
Right. But this much from our side, we are just want to know that how startups can get a sparkling moment in Nepal.
Yeah, well, I can put to you a few suggestions.
Right.
One thing is that Nepal, if you see, right now, the industrial development is not that is very high. It is there industries, but on Tarai area. But now Nepal, I have seen being a tourist place, you also importing a lot of garments, a lot of other things. But now seeing the neighboring situation in Bangladesh and other places, and this is the best opportunity to grab that garment industry can be easily started because Nepal has a lot of young people and there is a lot of brain drain. I'm sorry to say that a lot of people migrate because of want of job. If job creation can be there through new startups in this area where you don't require very high investment, only the government policy has to be little more beneficial to them, provide them tax benefits and other things, provide them some big industrial park where the electricity is available, the resources are available. So that thing has to be done there. Like in India, we have started big way those industrial parks. That is really ripening the fruits to many of the startups.
If I ask you about the best choice, how you want to recommend to the youngsters or to us to start up with? What kind of products or what kind of sectors you will recommend us to start with small funding? Like collaborating India.
Sectors I have completed in my presentation also. The upcoming sectors are fintech. It can be on EV, agri-tech, green tech.
Okay. But there are not much of help from the government side, so that we have to research from our own side, like how we can collaborate with international companies or international people who are in the highest level. They can support us through collaborating with the youngsters, with the
Nepal
intellectual
also there are
persons.
very good professionals because about startup I don't know, but in register value there was a conference on register valuation. So Nepal representative was also there. So we have a means there we have a discussion about the valuation professions in Nepal also. So they are having the good valuation professions in Nepal also. So if there are various professions are available in their certain state means country, then obviously there would be a good there would be means any benefit from the government also.
Yeah, but one thing is that the unemployment rate is highly going in Nepal, and the most of the youngsters are going abroad, not just only for the study, but also for the work. So if they get the clue or the idea from your side, then it can simply help us to start up, or it can simply help us to get some ideas about how we can start or how we can collaborate with others, how we can
So
get.
professional valuation professionals are nothing but the CAs and CS. So they would be having the idea what kind of startup would be there in Nepal.
Hmm, okay. Okay, thank
Because
you very much.
valuation course can be done by CA, CS, MBA, and ICWA. So say themselves can guide you very well which profession, which startup would be flourish in Nepal.
Yeah, Nirmala ji, you can provide them some contacts, good contacts, so that they can provide them the inputs further. So less time
Yeah,
is getting.
valuation professional.
Thank you very much for nice
Thank you,
presentation.
ma'am. Thank you, sir. So our next session is on 11 January on recent updates in GST. It shall be taken by Mr. Lalit Agarwal on notification, judgment, and circular. ICS is pleased to provide you all its research and development, integrated management system, that is QMS, CMS, and OHSS, excellence in education management, ISO made easy in Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu, and Hindi. For reading any of the above books, please contact Ms. Sushma Kindelkar on the given contact details. Feedback form, please register on www.sadgunsung.org and go in your login and give your valued feedback to us. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for today's Sadgun Sun. Now it's time for official close the session. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.